I did it. So this is my first live on YouTube, and I'm switching to this platform because where I was doing my lives has not been technologically friendly. So we're going to switch and we're going to try this here. Today, I want to talk about energetic mixed messages and really getting clear. So the sun went into an trine with Saturn last night. Um, and they're less than a degree apart right now. And the sun is, of course, over in Libra. It's asking us to seek balance, and it's bringing clarity and light and illumination and our willpower, our get up and go to finding our balance, finding how we want to juggle creating a life for ourselves that work. And I use creating intentionally because this trine with our friend Saturn in Aquarius, who is still retrograde until the end of the month. Saturn is the carpenter. He's the builder. He's not the architect. I want to be really super clear about that. He is not the designer. He is not the architect. He is the builder. He is the guy who executes the plans that we give him. And a trine is a support. It's 120 degrees, and there's a lot of support here. So this aspect feels like shining the light on what you're building. So you really get to see it clearly. Now, let's go into that from a practical, really boots on the ground standpoint. So, um, there's a human being who bought a home down in Florida 2 days before Ian hit. And now this may seem silly. Why do you buy a home in Florida 2 days before a hurricane hits? And one of the things that this person was aware of is that the exterior of the house had been fully remodeled and updated, but he wasn't happy with the interior. And he wanted the interior remodeled. Well, the exterior of his home survived the hurricane perfectly. Zero damage. However, the interior flooded. And so this is what I'm talking about deep energetic alignment. Bought a house, knew that they wanted to redo the interior because it was not updated. The universe said, "Here we go. We're going to not damage the inside of the outside of your house, but we're going to create a situation where your insurance and you're all set for an interior remodel." Now, most of us look at what happens and we don't tend to see the upside of it. And what I see when I hear this is deep energetic alignment. It is making sure that the actions that we're taking and the language that we're using and our presence is fully lined up with where we want to go. I have plans for what I have desires for what I want my life to look like in the next year. And as such, the steps I am taking in my life, in my day to day life, in my boots on the ground work, is taking steps where I'm not planning a life around anything other than that destination. Do I know exactly what that destination is yet? No, I don't. What I do know is that if I continue to plan and plant seeds, as it were, that aren't going to harvest until next fall, I am energetically and physically letting the universe know that I'm not that serious about the plans that my mouth and my mental story are talking about. I have a story. I'm saying I want this thing, but in reality, physically, I'm doing these other things to keep me in the place that I'm in. Do you see and feel the incongruence there? And the reason that this is coming into this mix of building the life we want to build and not sending mixed messages is because Jupiter and Mercury are still in opposition. They're a degree away, but they're still in an orb. And this opposition is conflict. Opposition is a conflict. They're sitting on opposite sides of the room. They don't know if they want to talk to each other. They don't know if they're going to acknowledge each other. And Mercury is the messenger. What messages are we giving? How are we relaying? Mercury's back in Libra. So Mercury is really recognizing this balance and it wants to communicate with balance. It wants to bring in harmony. It wants to bring in beauty. And Jupiter is over in Aries. Both of these are initiatory signs. They're cardinal energies. They're energies of a starting point. They're energies of a go point. And if our messages are not clear and our messages are not aligned, meaning that our mental story, I want to move, is not matching up with our physical actions of I need to prepare to not be in this space come next fall when the seeds that I'm planting would be ready to be harvested. So there's the physical action because emotionally or energetically we're hanging on to something and we're holding in the space that we're in. And that is okay if you want to hold in the space that you're in. It is about finding your integrity, bringing everything into line so that what you're thinking and saying and speaking lines up with what you're physically doing, the seeds that you're planting, the actions that you're taking to make manifest and expand the life you want to build, Saturn. Um, so that's just a little bit of something. And knowing also that Mars is squaring off with Neptune today, which can be confused action. So, while there can be this illumination on what we want to build with the Sun trine Saturn, there can also be confusion about what action, Mars, confusion, Neptune, we want to take to get there. Because a square is a conflictual piece. We want our little human, our little monkey minds want to be able to see around the corner. We want to be able to see what's coming so that it's a survival piece. It's one of our survival pieces kicking in and saying, well, if I can just see what's coming, then I can control X, Y, and Z. And if I can control X, Y, and Z, then I can feel secure enough to move towards what I want to move toward. And that doesn't have a lot of space for life force to birth anything. So the invitation here with this Mars square Neptune is to recognize that your actions may be confused and those actions may be causing confusion because Mars is action and Mars in Gemini has a hard time staying focused and seeing things through. Mars in Gemini, and I am guilty of this. My family is like, girl, simmer down. um, I've got too many projects going right now. I am a very in touch with my Mars person, and Mars in Gemini has got me running too many things at once because Gemini is the go here, go here, go here, go here, go fast, get it done, go to all the places, be the little hummingbird and go from flower to flower to flower. And Mars is to take action on all of those things. So really hone in with that desire to take action. Mars is also our desire to take action that is moving toward what you want to build, Saturn, because there's real clear illumination right now around what we can build. And to keep in mind that, yes, it really feels like a lot of stuff is falling apart. We are in an eclipse season. Saturn and Uranus are square. The moon conjuncted Uranus today, bringing in our feelings and how revolution, because Uranus is the great disruptor, how revolution can feel uh, not secure to us. Our moon is kind of our place of emotional security. And so revolution can feel insecure. And know that nothing dies without a birth process. Um, I did a video yesterday that I apologize did not get translated due to the technical difficulties about birth and death. And one of my teachers is shifting his language around this and calling it incarnation and disincarnation, because we collectively really struggle with death. We don't want to look at it, we don't want to deal with it. We see it as an ending. And the piece I want to invite to look at this differently, as far as we're birthing something big and systems are collapsing and things feel like they're falling apart because we're in a birth process. For anybody who, male or female bodies, who have gone through witnessing or birthing yourself, you understand that you go into it with a head knowing of this baby's got to come out, and you go into it with a, in the back of your head, well, it may not be conscious, birthing can kill you. um and when you're in the process of birthing, when you're in the process of moving something through your body to bring it into the world, you're in a death and birth process. You are busy incarnating yourself as a parent, as a mother. Well, your single person, your childless person is dying. And it's an initiation of sorts to be able to move through this birth death cycle. And it's really vital and it's really really important to move into the rhythm of the birth death cycle, the incarnation disincarnation. It's the basic of shamanic practice. And even if you're a male body, if you are present with that birthing process, you also get to experience the incarnation and disincarnation process for yourself. Because what happens when, and I'm just going to overlay this with two parents and two parents. Um, Both of these individuals go from being childless people into being parents. So there's that shift. There's that die of their childless life. And if the oftentimes we're going to go with what is the stereotypical heterosexual relationship. If the father is not present and able to process his death, he continues to live his life. He goes out, he does happy hour, he does all the things, and he feels like his wife has changed and that he has lost her to the child because he hasn't gone through his initiation. The other thing that goes through an initiation and a death process is their relationship as a couple. They move from being a couple to being a family. And there is still space for the couple to exist if they can successfully make the transition into family and allow the pieces that don't work for a family to die. So there is a what we're building and how we allow the disincarnation, the death to take place. Pluto just stationed direct, and he is going to be really working this disincarnation incarnation process. And remember, there's nothing that's going to die that there isn't something waiting to be birthed. That is the nature of life. Um, So, keeping in mind that our moon, when she was conjunct Uranus earlier this morning, she was bringing in our feelings around, well, where am I where am I disrupted? How can I be part of healthy disruption? Where can I look at the ways that I'm in conflict with tradition? Because the moon was then part of the Saturn Uranus square. Am I in conflict with tradition because it's actually that tradition doesn't work? That is not true. It's not equitable. It's it's not what is real. Um, The moon presently is in a sextile with Neptune. So Neptune and confusion is a big player right now, and we're in an eclipse season. There is so much coming up, and being with the things that are coming up rather than just moving right into, well, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to say goodbye to that piece and let that go. Actually be with it and give it time to be really present so that as it disincarnates, you have some awareness about what is being born. And birth takes time. Disincarnation takes time. And so, really be present and really be clear so that you are birthing with your messages what you actually want to build. Get really allow that sun shining and in a trine with Saturn to bring you a big clarity around what you want to build so that your messages are clear and you can get into that high Neptune space of working above the fog and above the confusion to get Neptune in their shamanic state where Neptune becomes this eagle or a condor that soars above and can see the big picture. The sun also is squaring off with Black Moon Lilith. So like I said, a square is a conflict, and Black Moon Lilith is in Cancer. She's in the sign of the mother right now. She is traveling through there, and she has had a wily time over there, and just bringing in a lot of tenderness, bringing in a lot of fierce mother love, not the kind of manipulative mother who wants to cling, not the type of mother that wants to manage her children, not the type of mother that wants to process her things through her children or have her children living her life. That fierce Gaia love of, I can let you go because I love you. And I believe that you can do this. Um, because why not you? Why couldn't you do it? That the parent that loves the child enough to say, yeah, I'm not going to tell you that you can't. I'm going to be here and I'm going to love you enough and I'm going to support you enough to tell you that you can. So with all of that, we're in a wily eclipse season. We are 2 weeks out from the first South Node eclipse. So really be with what it is time to disincarnate, what you're ready. And moving through this disincarnation process is ideally, even if it's sticky, even if it's painful, going to bring you into better alignment with your own integrity so that you are actually building energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what you want to build, what you want to create. So, leave your questions, your comments, your dedications, or your requests down below in the comments. I love hearing from you and interacting with you. If you want to get in touch with me for any reason, my website is down below in the comments. Big, fierce love.